Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas, right at the end.
Good evening, welcome. You are listening to the It's Up for Grabs Now Arsenal podcast with me, Alan Davis. Tayo is me.
Hello, Alan.
Tayo, how are you? And Keith Dover is with me this week. How are you, Keith?
Oh, I am fantastic.
Very nice to see you.
Thank you.
So your first appearance. Have you listened to us on the on your steam-driven computer at home?
I certainly have. It took me 4 days to get the thing downloaded, but I managed it in the
You
end.
don't have to write it down, you know. It's not dictation.
I did look at the comments, and we've got a great load of comments, but the 3 negative ones were all from Spurs fans, and it's like, why would you listen to an Arsenal podcast, you sad, dedicated losers?
Yeah, and then log on and post.
Exactly.
This is terrible. It's all about Arsenal.
What a surprise. Clues in the title, chaps. You know?
So what about Arsenal this week? Well, we haven't played for a start.
Yeah.
Last week we were disappointed we only had 8 goals in the week. This week, no goals. Although we have been scoring goals for countries, I've noticed. I noticed Vermaelen scored for Belgium.
As he normally does.
Yeah, I don't know if he beat 3 men and screamed it in from 25 yards like he does at the Emirates.
We've got a replacement for Robin now, haven't we? You know,
Put him up front?
Absolutely.
Well, I've been alternating between like kind of Arsenal's optimism and crushing pessimism all since
Since Van Persie's injury?
Yeah, so that's
the elephant in the room. But don't worry, because Eduardo's on cracking form. Croatia, having not qualified, have lined themselves up an excellent friendly against Liechtenstein.
So he's going to pack the goals in and get his confidence up.
He scored 2. They won 5-0.
Is that all?
Is that all? Yeah.
I mean, Liechtenstein's so small.
That's what Jack Wilshere said to him. Is that all you got?
Exactly.
I mean, it's a small country. You could carpet it, couldn't you?
Liechtenstein, you could if you got the contract.
Yeah. I mean,
Which I reckon you could get that contract.
Yeah, I mean, if I went to Liechtenstein, they said, could you laminate Liechtenstein? I said, yeah, that's 3 days at tops, you know.
It's a little bit less time than it takes you to download a podcast. He's about the size of Stevenage, I think, but their team isn't as good as Stevenage.
Yeah.
They're not as good. So you bothered about Van Persie? What do you think we should do about it?
Well, when we first heard about it, it just because we sat here last week knowing that it was going to happen, didn't we? I mean, you know,
very predictable. Arsene said there would be injuries in November.
There will be injuries in November somewhere, and they happen to be to arguably our best player this season.
You can almost tell the seasons, can't you, with Robin Van Persie? It's like, the geese are flying south. There's a Dutchman on crutches. It's injured.
It's my time.
Why is he so fragile, though? What is it about him?
I know.
He didn't do
He's
anything.
not a big contact player, is he? He doesn't go in for 50-50s. Did you see the tackle, by the way?
No.
It was a good tackle, wasn't it? Last time I checked.
What it is, it's what Tony Adams... I met Tony Adams today, by the way. I just dropped that in.
Oh, fantastic.
I did it for a radio thing with him. He said it was a free one. He called it a free one.
A free one?
Yeah.
Free tackle.
What, a free broken ankle?
A free chance to maim someone, yeah. This is a centre-half thinking. Van Persie was going for a shot, which means as a centre-half, you're allowed to jump in because it looks like you're trying to, in inverted commas, I'm doing it with my fingers.
That's amazing.
Block it.
A free one.
A free one.
Yeah. He goes, it's a free one.
Did he say reducer today? I've always wanted to meet Tony Adams and say... Yeah,
this was a friendly,
reducer in early.
Yeah, it wasn't a very friendly tackle, but Chiellini's not a very friendly bloke. He's an outstanding centre-back. I wish he played for us. But he'd be about 20 million quid.
I was listening to Radio 5 Live this weekend just to find out what people are saying about Arsenal, because I'm watching The Watchmen, all right? That's the first
You're getting as paranoid as me now.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, there, Kenny Sampson on, Colin Murray had Kenny Sampson on, he was saying that when Tony Adams first started playing for Arsenal, he went up to him and said, Tony, if you get the ball, panic! And Tony Adams basically sort of pooed himself in the corner, and was. I like the idea of a scared Tony Adams at the beginning of his career.
I can't even imagine it.
Doesn't happen now.
As a leader of men.
No, he's talking about a free one.
He had a free one. It was a free one, so he jumped. He jumped, basically, 12 stone, 13 stone of Italian muscle, jumped on Robin's standing leg.
Was it chocolate? It wasn't his chocolate leg.
It was his chocolate leg, yeah.
No, it would have gone through him if it was a chocolate leg.
Would have snapped it like an Easter egg.
Why can't we do what Chelsea do? You know, I'm injured before the game. I bent over, my wallet fell on my ankle.
Arsene likes to complain about it.
You know, I can't play, governor. Rest assured.
Who was that? Who were you doing there? Was that Drogba?
Uncovering the
Essien. Was it Essien? Carvalho! It's Carvalho!
It's Carvalho. naturally, they all talk with that sort of lilt. And
when they're trying to get off a game. Yeah. That's how a footballer throws a sickie. My wallet's
I've got to say, the other thing about the Van Persie injury is that I think it's my fault.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're to blame.
No, I can
Are you twinned
that.
with Chiellini?
Well, I got really excited on Twitter saying that when heard that Fat Frank got injured, I jumped up.
He got injured because he went on EasyJet, is that right?
I think so. He kind of offended his wallet and his hamstrings at the same time.
He had to sit, he cramped. He got cramped.
Yeah.
Well, this is what
you know what that means? He was in the toilet for ages.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
That means, yeah. But they're all going to make a rapid recovery, aren't they?
Door.
Oh, surprise, surprise. They'll be like Lazarus getting up now for the weekend.
Yeah.
But I got excited about Frank getting injured, and as soon as I tweeted it, I felt bad, and I said, I hope I haven't just put bad juju just to keep.
Yeah, I saw that tweet of yours.
And you thought it, didn't you?
A little bit gloaty about Fat Frank.
Yeah. I said, well,
Poor Fat Frank can't get in the economy seats on EasyJet. A lot of fat people can't. They usually go on ferries, though, don't they? Can you get a ferry to Doha?
Ferry to Doha.
That's what he said to his agent. Oh, ferry to Doha.
Ferry to Doha.
In that accent again as well, in the kind of Chelsea accent.
No,
yeah.
I don't with a play accent.
So,
what should we do about it, though? Because you know what the Chelsea fans would do? Death threats.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to get a few.
They'd have issued death threats by now. They'd have got together and started cutting out letters from newspapers, and they'd have sent death threats to Chiellini.
We don't do that at Highbury.
No, it's
Why
not.
don't we? Let's start. What will we say? Dear, we wouldn't say dear, would you?
Oi, Chiellini.
Chiellini.
Sort of falls down flat.
I'll tell you what we'd say.
As a death threat goes.
We'd say, yo, Chiellini.
Yo,
We'd say, yo, Chiellini.
He wouldn't even need to say his name. As soon as we said yo, he'd know it was us.
It's not going to be the end of the world, though. I don't think so. I've now come round to the Arsene No school of thinking, basically. We'll work out a way, because we think about it at the start of the season.
I
We
love
didn't
it. An
even
injured
think.
striker isn't the end of the world.
We could get Jay Simpson back from QPR. He's banging
Nor
it
is it the worst injustice since the Birmingham 6, if we're going to put things back into perspective again. Bless you, Alan. Bless you.
So I've got a bit of a cough.
But no, it's not. At the start of the season, we didn't even think that we needed an extra striker, and we were wondering why he was going for Shamak and so on. So what do we know? And Arsene knows. So we're going to be all right. 6
Do you think
weeks.
you'll go for Shamak in the
No.
or somebody?
No.
Edin Dzeko or someone?
Is that the guy who plays in the
Bosnian?
Bundesliga?
Yeah, he
who's
couldn't
supposed to
stand in this room. He'd hit his head on the ceiling. He's massive.
Well, one, they know we're in a fix. They're going to want more money, and that's not Arsene's style. I mean, we got our shaving on nectar points, didn't we? I mean, they was doing the deal, and it was like, 70 million. Well, we'll give you some nectar points. Well, I've got some home base vouchers here as well. We can, sweeten the deal.
Well, they don't want cash, the Russians, do they?
No, never
They
do.
trade in kind. It's like the old days.
Yeah. Got any unwanted
We'll swap
gold?
you 48 tons of magnesium.
We'll get by. I'm a bit worried about. I reckon he's going to put a Boué up there. I reckon that's the answer. He's going to get a Boué.
As a sweetener.
Hit again. He's got such a massive.
Emmanuel
He's got such a
Boué.
massive backside, right? So the idea is going to be you just hit the ball to his backside. It ricochets off to our forwards running on, our shaving on one side.
Come to see you, Boué.
Exactly.
We've only come to see you, Boué.
Eduardo's got to step up. Vela's got to show up. I don't know where he is.
You're listening to Up for Grabs Now, the Arsenal podcast. You can email us at upforgrabs@playbackmedia.co.uk. And we're also on Twitter at Arsenal Podcasts, which is my favourite item. We are sponsored this week by the X Factor Predictor. This is the Facebook application that predicts who will be going home on next week's X Factor. So you have one less thing to worry about this weekend. Search for X Factor Predictor on Facebook. So that's very exciting news.
Wow, is that true?
You're exciting news.
Really true?
Yeah, you an X Factor person?
I've never seen a bit of it. I know loads about it because of Twitter. I know I get my life news from Twitter.
Yeah.
I caught it for
basically
the
do.
first time on Saturday night.
There's
Did you vote?
there's someone or something
No.
called Jedward.
Yeah.
Like that?
Well,
Yeah.
they was all doing Queen songs, and I see Freddie Mercury at his peak, and they were all massacring every single song.
So you got
Yeah.
upset
I was
about it.
outraged.
You know Jack, John and Edward? You know who's bought them, don't you? Harry Redknapp.
Oh, if only that was true. Wouldn't that be good?
Because you know he bought them two kids called Kyle from Sheffield United and he hasn't played them since. He doesn't know what to do with them. He swapped them for Jedward.
Backhander.
Go in the reserves, lads.
Yeah.
Door for sure, Harry. Absolutely.
Did Tom Huddleston get on at the
That's
weekend?
how Tom did all the catering for Tom Huddleston did all the catering for the whole trip to Doha, and he did a superb job. To be fair, because judging by how lethargic the England team were,
How many
I think they
Spurs-
had several backs.
How many Spurs players were in the England team, in the England B team? Because that's what Spurs have always done. They've always signed England B players, so this was their time to shine.
Oh, can I point out on the first podcast that you did that you mentioned me abusing the Tottenham directors? I will now be appearing at Snaresbrook Magistrates Court on December the 3rd.
They think it's all over. It is now.
What I've got to say, and this is for all Gooners, you're going to love this. The actual Arsenal directors were egging us on, sort of going, "Yeah, go on, take the mick."
They loved it.
They did actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. I saw Hillwood going, "Yeah, go on, take the mick."
Well, they weren't actually saying that, or even actually doing anything. But no, there was one director going, "Go on, take the mickey."
But now, how many Spurs players are up there, basically? Because I think there's a direct correlation to how rubbish we were to how many Spurs players are in the squad, standardly.
Genus, Huddleston,
And he's 2 people.
Defoe.
Is that it?
It's wearying, isn't it?
The excuse is...
Let's move on from
Wasn't the excuse was that, it was too hot, and it's like, South Africa, there's a surprise.
No, you're wrong there.
No.
You're wrong there. You're wrong.
No,
it's cold.
It's going to be in the winter in South Africa. It's going to be raining. This is our big chance to win the World Cup. If only we weren't so pony and trap.
Are you saying that when I buy into it, it's time for St George's flags on the vans?
You're going to have to do your face again.
Do my face again, get wrapped up. Quarterfinals in sad disappointment, I punch a door.
Yeah, you punched the door. That was right. But we had just lost on penalties.
Yeah,
the door was made in Germany.
And and the next day I had several fractures in my hand.
While we're on the World Cup, and obviously to keep the theme going through the podcast, Nigeria qualified for the World Cup.
So what were you saying?
I just think it's a good thing. And the Nigerian under 17 stroke under 24s, I think they won the Super Eaglets. They're called.
Yeah.
Super Eaglets.
Yeah, they won the under 21.
What about
and how many of them are under 21?
Oh no, come on. They got rid of all the ones who were 44.
We had this the other week.
I know. I heard this. I think
15 of the under 17 squad got pulled out for being overage.
Yeah, I think.
What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
15 of them, T. What have you got to say about your homeland?
Yeah.
Well,
are you going to tell me you're from Wandsworth now?
Yeah, I'm either a Nigerian Arsenal fan or an English Crystal Palace fan, depending on
You're as Nigerian as an
how it suits me. Yeah, cool.
We got an email from a bloke who said he wants to know what we think is the worst Arsenal song that's ever been sung.
Oh, good old Arsenal, we're proud to say.
Yeah, we don't know that one, do we?
No.
He cites this song. It goes, canoe, 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 canoe.
We
do
never
you
sung
want to
that.
be in my gang, my gang, my gang? Do you want to be in my gang? Tone's the leader, Tone's the lead. Now, anyone who's sung that...
I've never heard
any.
barred
You've sung
for life.
that now.
Well,
I'm impressed that Diawara. Is it Diawara? I can't impressed he got a song. Remember him? He only ever hit the bar.
Cabu
Diawara.
I remember
He was
Diawara.
going to win us the league in 1999, but all he could do was hit the bar, which he did every game.
every
did.
single game.
And he hits it hard
And
as
he
well.
hit it against Leeds, and we know how we feel about Leeds in 1999.
Oh,
Yeah, we do. I know
So-
how you feel
but
about
yeah,
it.
there's
Why
high-
don't we get that out of your system now
Yeah.
on this podcast? Tell me all about what you don't like. What happened at Leeds in 1999?
What happened in Leeds in 1999 was, why are you laughing? I know.
I can see your face.
There's
This
still
really
games that
angers
I...
me. What happened, Keith?
Yeah.
What happened?
I know
Keith?
what
Well,
happened.
what do we
okay,
need? A draw? Or if we'd won that game, we'd
If
have
we
won
won
the
that
league.
game, we would have won the league.
But we didn't score any goals, T. So that's
someone
a drawback.
someone need Winterburn in the face. He went off injured quite late
Who
in the
did that?
game. A Leeds player, I'm guessing.
You've got to have closure.
It might have
mate.
been. Seeing as I'm blaming everything that day on Vivas, it might as well have been Vivas
But
to
we
get
have
on.
one thing.
So Vivas got on the pitch.
God.
Listen,
Oh,
I
is
just
that
need
why
to
he
get it
came
out.
on? He came
So
on
Vivas
for
came on for
Nutty
Winterburn,
Nigel.
and then
I
he
didn't know
left.
that.
And then he left Hasselbank free at the back post. I'd gone up there to watch it, an away game.
Oh, you
Why
were
do you
actually
think-
there. That's what it hurts. So that's
Why
why you
do
can't
you
take
think
it. Is that
I
why you
went
don't
away
go
games?
away games anymore?
Because if they're going to be like this, and I don't want to be part of it. So we went up there, we lost 1-0. Cabu Diawara hit the post about 9 times, and then the Manx won the league by 1 point. And I hate
We
Nelson
should have won
Vivas.
that. Should have won the
I
double.
helped
that year.
Nelson Vivas with a passion.
Well, you won't
and
like
that was
this
it.
then, because this is an email from Daryl Benelli, who says, we asked last week about who would be your best... I apologise, by the way, for my incredibly croaky voice, but I am at death's door. Last week we asked for your best combination player, and my choice of Arshavin and Nikolai Valuev was untouched. But we have had some
And
suggestions.
rightly so, a lot of people.
And this is one, Robert Pires and Nelson Vivas.
That's
no.
Pires, exquisite flair, touch, and eye for goal, coupled with Nelson Vivas being hard as nails and mental.
Vivas wasn't hard as nails, wasn't mental. He's the worst.
He was mental. He was hard as nails. He was the sort of player who could snap your ligaments for you but not leave a break in the skin. You know, that real South American hardness.
I would go for Ian Wright and Henry. You've got the fox in the box and the style of Henry. You've got all the combinations there. But the whole thing did get me thinking, why don't we start taking sperm samples now of all our best players?
What, trying to breed players?
Breed them,
Who's going to collect them, Keith?
Well, that's down to the management, and there must be someone down at the training ground who can handle that kind of situation. You know, could you give us some sperm, please? Van Persie, and we'll keep it for a future date.
Could you give us some sperm, please, Van Persie?
Maybe not.
That's how you're going to approach it, is it?
I think there's more delicate ways of putting that, but
sometimes I wish you were a girl.
Long-term policy. You see, this is...
to see how you'd approach pulling bloke.
Nobody's seen the bigger
Could you
picture
give us
here.
some sperm,
Didn't someone come up on the Facebook group with Tony Adams and Arshavin? Or did we...
Tony Adams and Arshavin is a more conventional one. Van Persie and Luzhny, because Oleg never gets injured. John Hartson and Glenn Helder, because they just look weird.
Glenn Helder.
Here's one you'd like, Keith. Thierry Henry, obviously. He's a spectacular footballer. Don't need to improve him in any department, apart from the fact that he isn't really fully mental like Willie Young. So they've combined him with Willie Young.
That would give him the heading ability.
Yeah.
Willie Young could head a ball.
And he didn't mind kicking people.
That's true. So, but he'd have ginger hair, wouldn't he? That'd just be wrong.
That
Imagine Henry with ginger hair. That's just
quite poor ones. Flamini and Arshavin, that's boring. They're all that's quite dull.
What we was talking about the other week of, could you remember how many animals you've ever seen on a Highbury pitch? And I've seen a chicken and a squirrel, right? And obviously Vinnie Jones, right?
Vinnie Jones was mine.
Right, but
you just robbed that.
Well, I've robbed you of that one.
Start the topic again.
Can you remember, Alan, of any animals you've ever seen on the Arsenal pitch?
Vinnie Jones,
right? Teo, any animals? You must have seen the squirrel.
I saw the squirrel.
Chiellini.
That was in my era.
I saw Chiellini play at the Emirates.
He's an animal.
In the Emirates.
I saw Carney do a chicken dance, like a kind of in a little voodoo flex again. Does that count?
Have you ever seen a dog, though? There's no dog.
A dog at the Arsenal?
No, not a dog.
Do you know what I read the other day?
I sat next to a few. But
There was a player whose career was ended in 1975 by a collision with a dog.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find out for next week. I just read that as a...
What, during a game?
Yeah, the ref wouldn't get the... It was
a dog ran into him and his career was ended?
Yeah, David James mentioned it in his column at the weekend.
David James' column. You really do not have any daytime work, do you?
It was a Sunday, there was no match on.
David James can't believe it was someone.
He was at the job centre.
Hey, speaking of Sunday, goals on Sunday on Sky, it's quite a regular viewing option for me. Chris Kamara was on there, as he often is. And they were talking about Aaron Ramsey. Now, Aaron Ramsey
made a mug of Darren Fletcher.
Absolutely humiliated Darren Fletcher, which made me very happy indeed. Fletcher tried to bring him down for a pen.
No, really.
But forgot that he's not French, so he stayed on his feet and scored instead. But he played brilliantly. And I said on Twitter that I think he could be the new Brian Robson. A lot of people said, what an egotistical drunken fool. And what he's going to get Middlesbrough relegated twice, is he? Lots of tweets like that. Yeah. But some people forgot he could, there were times when he was sober and didn't have a dislocated shoulder, when he was quite a good player. I think Ramsey's going to be an outstanding player.
He's modelling himself on Steven Gerrard.
Stevie G. Do you think it's Stevie G? I thought Abu Diaby was a new Stevie G, except he's always asleep.
And don't forget, we've got Jack Wilshere to come in, haven't we? I mean, and then we've got Theo Walcott to come back, as we keep saying, don't we? Every season, Theo Walcott.
Ramsey's going to get the
He's going to be the new best thing. No, but Chris Kamara on Sky the weekend said that he thinks that Aaron Ramsey should leave Arsenal because he needs more games.
Oh, that's always a good move, isn't it?
What sort of advice is that? Can you imagine if Ramsey was an idiot and he listened to anything that Chris Kamara said?
Yeah,
let's go. Went, went on the Monday and said, I saw Chris Kamara on Sunday. He says I should leave. Can I have a transfer?
Please. Yeah, Birmingham City. Oh, that sounds a good move.
Can I have 3 years at Blackburn Rovers? Just because I'll be playing regularly.
Yeah. Why miss, because all that Champions League football's just getting in the way.
All that coach, Arsene Wenger, coaching young players, it's terrible. He never brings anyone on. He never improves anyone.
Chris Kamara knows a thing or two about management, and what does Arsene know? That's what it comes down to,
What's
really.
the thing to say, though?
I mean,
he's just starting to break into the side.
And Arsene said he's going to get the shirt.
He's 18, he's knocking on the door. Everything's going swimmingly. Right? He's in the Welsh team, bossing it. At 18 years old, he should leave. Move clubs.
Yeah, move clubs to say
Go
Stoke.
to a not such a good club, playing at not such a good level, with not such good coaching, playing with not such good players. That would be the best thing for him.
Yeah, should be an agent, shouldn't he, Chris?
The guy, whoever that guy is, I can't remember, who sits next to Kamara, the presenter bloke. No one says to him, "Are you an idiot?"
Well, no.
What's he talking about?
To be fair, Alan, it worked for Matthew Upson, and you know how.
Some of them, right? Now, Upson, I sympathise a little bit because Upson left because he was just about, his third choice basically when he behind Sol and Colo, and then we signed Pascal Segan.
And that's
that was a good move.
That's just going to annoy anyone.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker, isn't it?
That's what you got to say.
Knocking on the
surely.
door. I don't mind Sol. I don't mind TA.
Yeah.
But this one?
No. This bloke, no. And when he's getting
no.
picked in front of me, you're having a laugh, Arsene, just because he's French. This is Arsene's blind spot, if you ask me. Same thing happened with Stevie Sidwell. Good player, came through the youth team, tackled everything that moved, left because we signed Flamini. He could see, obviously, that Flamini was going to screw us over and leave for nothing 4 years later.
I've been accused of a bit of a French clique down there. Everyone, if you're French, you're in.
There's a couple of times I thought that. There's a couple of times I thought the French boys are getting picked in front of the English boys. And I think Sidwell and Upson wouldn't have been any worse than Flamini and Segan, frankly.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, Upson would have been great,
Upson's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't swap him for Vermaelen.
Oh, no, not now.
You know what TA thinks? TA thinks we should have Gallas at right back, Vermaelen at left back, and two new centre halves.
TA, I mean, this just upsets me.
He wants muscle.
I know he's your new mate after you saw
Oh, TA now, is it?
Yeah.
Not Mr. Adams.
Oh, no, it's not TA, it's Tone.
Oh, Tone.
It's kind of like
hello, Tone.
It's kind of like with Paul Davies. He's just PD to me.
PD, yeah.
P Diddy, because he sits in front. Paul Davies sits in front of us, which is
How is the restraining order coming in now?
Hey, listen, he accepted my Christmas card and he patted me on the back.
Yeah, well, I think that's stretching the truth. Yeah, but there was a look of,
he
you're a
patted you on the back and he went, cough!
Followed by the word, nutter.
What?
Security!
Stalker.
What is it? You say that.
We're on a roll now.
Paul's coming to my Christmas party.
Dream.
Oh, not another one of your two-man Christmas parties.
Yeah, me and a cutout. No, but what is it about Tony Adams and Ian Wright, two of our greatest players, who can't help but say wrong things about the Arsenal in the press all the time. I know, I mean, you don't bother about the press as much as I do, like I said.
I don't bother with what Wrighty says about anything.
Wrighty talks rubbish now. It really upsets me. As a lapsed Palace fan who just loves Ian Wright and followed him across the... I'm making a joke of myself, please. I'm going to get loads of bad tweets about that. You're a Palace fan.
I was sitting Wrighty tomorrow, I'm going on his thing on Channel 5.
Oh, you?
Is there anything you'd like me to say to
I'll
him?
write it down. I'll write it down in case you forget.
Yeah, he should have punched Adrian.
I'll give you a list.
Should have punched Adrian
I'll give you a
Durham.
list.
I'll write that down.
God,
I'll give you a list of things, basically.
I know, but they ask
why
him
is he
things.
doing it?
Well, because I don't know, they try and wind him up, and he's easy to wind up about it.
He just comes across as stupid.
Yeah.
I met him once.
That's not a revelation, is it?
No, well, I met him.
Have you seen the Channel 5 show?
I tried not to. I went on as a member of the audience. It's really boring when you go on live TV and
as a member of the audience
when your hero's being a dickhead. It's like really difficult. Yeah. As a member of the audience, stroke stalker. Yeah, the restraining order came into play then as well. I met him once and I couldn't. And I just like righty. He came over and he was like, "All right, mate." And then I couldn't speak.
Yeah, well, you see, that's your problem.
And then he went. I understand, mate. It was like that when I first met Laurie Cunningham and Cyril Regis. So, take your time, deep breath.
Deep breath, relax. Yeah.
So, I thought we could be mates for life then. Then he started talking.
He shunned you.
He shunned me, basically, yeah.
He dissed you. Yeah. Which
Laurie Cunningham, by the way, played for the O's, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Keith and I sometimes go down the O's.
When the rest of us are going away,
keeping it real.
We like the O's. And Laurie Cunningham, sadly, no longer with us. But he went to Real Madrid, got himself a trial, and they signed him. That was quite
in Madrid?
Yeah. He did well.
Back then.
But after he passed away, he was remembered at Orient when they named a tea bar after him.
Well, yes, on that tragic note, let's remember the bombing of Dresden, everybody.
The Laurie Cunningham
tea
bar.
Oh,
and now when you say tea bar at Orient, you can imagine...
That's impressive.
Two blokes have made that with some wood they got from a yard.
Mind you,
it was a disappointing memorial.
They have revamped.
No, you beat the O's now. You beat the O's this season.
I ain't been this season, no.
You haven't?
I nearly went the other night to see him in the Johnson's Paint Trophy against Hereford.
Nearly.
I'm glad I didn't because it went to extra time and penalties and they lost.
Oh, no.
And do you know what? In the course of that 2-hour game and penalties, could easily have met everyone who was there.
And that's what you get forced to do in the interlude.
You've really got to, if you're a player at that level, summon up every sinew to go out and play in front of 400 people on a cold night in November for the
Johnson's Paint Trophy
paper.
It's been a while since the O's have produced a player too, isn't it? I mean, it was the last one they produced who got in the Premier League, really. I'll tell you who it was. I won't waste your time.
Yeah.
Chris Bart-Williams.
Chris Bart-Williams. Yeah, what do you think of this thing of having the Carling Cup final out in Qatar or something?
Is that what they're talking about?
In Doha.
Doha.
Can you get a ferry there?
Exactly. But it's going to go bad, isn't it? Because
is that what they want to do?
Yeah.
Have it abroad.
Have it abroad. But, you know, they think...
Jack Wilshere will have to get a passport.
But they think it's going to be like Man U and Liverpool or Arsenal, Chelsea, when it'll probably be Tranmere and Birmingham. So it's not going to be quite the allure, is it?
No, it won't. It'll be Manchester City if they knock us out. You know that won't happen.
Yeah, no.
Do you think we're going to win that?
Do you reckon? No, yeah. Well,
what do you think the side's going to be? Fabianski?
Is he fit?
No,
is he ever going to be fit again? It'll be
Scorsese or the other.
You know, Szczesny. How good was he? Szczesny.
He was good.
17 years old. He's about 6'4". He's 17. They've called him into the Polish national squad. At 17, he looked absolutely superb.
Did he play?
Yet again, another reason why in 10 years' time we're going to have the best team in the world.
Mind you, we said that about Fabianski until we got to a semi-final and his nerve went.
No, he didn't look like this fella.
No?
This fella looks a bit like David Seaman, which is not a bad start for a keeper, if you ask me.
Has he got a moustache?
He hasn't got a ponytail either.
17-year-old bum.
Have you seen that on the Arsenalisation of the Emirates? They've put players on the outside of the stadium from behind, because obviously whoever did the painting can't do faces. And they've got the numbers and the names on the shirts, and they've got Seaman, and they've done Seaman with a ponytail. That's late Seaman.
That's late Seaman, yeah.
It's late era Seaman.
Have they got Righty up there? Because I haven't walked fully round the stadium yet to see if...
You haven't walked round to see who's up?
No.
I would have thought you'd have done that immediately.
No.
You used to be like that.
Well, yeah, in the old days when we went away to Reading and we walked round the stadium how many times to find a ticket office?
No, we walked round, Well, we went in, we went up, and if we turned left, it would have been 10 yards to the turnstiles. If we turned right, it's a lap of the ground. But at least it wasn't throwing it down with rain as if we were in a Southeast Asian monsoon or anything. It was.
So is Righty not up there?
Well, I
think he's up there, and he must be.
He must be. He's got to be a legend, doesn't he?
Got to have at least one thief up there. Keep up the tradition of the club. He wasn't a thief. That was a joke. Tell you who was a thief, though. Adi Bayor. Adi Bayor. There's footage of Adi Bayor putting footballs footballs in the boot of his car from the training ground.
Well, he needs the money.
Allegedly.
Is that why allegedly then they were quite happy to stamp all over him? Or not, they wouldn't shake his hand in the tunnel, so then he...
I don't know about all that. I can't imagine what he was doing in the tunnel.
Because he'll definitely play. He'll definitely play when we play him in the Carling Cup, won't he?
Bouncing around.
Yeah, but he'll be on goal watch. They'll be watching him. If he scores, it'll be, where's he moving? Where's he looking?
I never had a problem with that celebration. It's not that good. I mean, you give him loads of abuse, so fair enough. It's just, I had a problem with the Van Persie stamp, but as far as the celebrating goes, I mean...
I had a problem...
It's when Ben... What are you looking behind that for? It's the game, isn't it? It's like,
I had a problem with the media the next day saying things were thrown on the pitch, and it was like, it was a sandwich.
No, nothing serious.
There was no golf balls.
Nowhere near enough stuff was thrown on the pitch.
There wasn't an anvil thrown on the pitch, was there? You know, a severed head thrown...
A severed pig's head.
It was a sandwich, you know, or maybe half-eaten sausage roll, which never causes much damage.
We've all seen the catering at Eastlands.
Yes. Well, maybe.
You have. I haven't.
You haven't been
up there.
Well, I didn't have a problem with running 90 yards to celebrate. I did. Someone made me laugh on the radio. I can't remember who it was who said... Oh, no, I'll tell you who it was. This is unusual. It was Warnock. Neil Warnock said... I had the privilege of watching Arsenal about 3 times last season, and at no time did I see Adi Bayor make a 90-yard run. Flat out. Certainly not towards his own goal.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that really wound everyone up. Quite apart from the fact that he was very obviously angling for a move, and if he didn't want to move, he was going to get a massive contract. That wound everybody up. But then it was the fact that he stopped trying.
Well, he didn't
turn up in that European Cup semi-final. He did not turn up at
Kiss
Old
the
Trafford.
badge, stop trying, and then... And then just that interview he did, where he just said it was all our fault. It's like, it's your fault for being a mug.
Still slagging us off, those Arsenal fans. They don't appreciate what I did for him.
Made his life hell, didn't we? You know.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot. It's a good job he got over it, though, isn't it?
Oh, it'd be great if our youngsters go up there and do them. That will be funny.
It won't be that young as him. We said last week it'll be Sylvester and
Kerry Gilbert, Sylvester, Senderos, Kieran Gibbs,
Vila. He'll be up front.
Carlos Vela up front, maybe with Theo if he's fit.
Possibly, yeah.
Midfield, who's going to be in midfield? Aaron Ramsey. Maybe Wilshere should be fit by now. Wilshere will be fit.
Yeah. So.
Fran Merida.
DRB, give him the game.
Maybe Denilson.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Denilson's coming back.
Because Denilson's going to come back and cover for Song when Song's away.
And then there's a couple of boys that could do with some games, like Nasri and Rosicki. So we could send a half-decent side up there. It'll be a short side.
I got a feeling it'll go to penalties. We'll win on pens.
Yeah?
I'm staking that claim now.
I think we'll win 2-1.
Well,
I might go up and find out.
Well,
you're going to go?
You are very good at predicting things, Alan, aren't you?
Am I?
Oh, yes, you are. I don't know if Gooners might find this interesting. And when we played Chelsea in the FA Cup, we went up there by plane. And there was 3 planes booked. We arrived at Stansted 8:30 in the morning, and Alan said, before we'd even got out of the car, wouldn't it be a hoot if our plane had developed a fault and didn't take off? Guess which plane nearly didn't take off? That would be our plane. Alan the Predictor. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I do remember that. We made it. We did make it, though. We did make it to the final.
Yeah, with 20 minutes to spare.
Where were you going?
Cardiff.
You flew to Cardiff?
We flew to Cardiff. We thought this would be brilliant. We'll get there by 12. We booked a restaurant.
Big
It
time Charlie's.
was only 90 quid.
Yeah.
We booked a restaurant, and then they got a puncture, and then they had to get a wheel brought up from Southend to Stansted. I imagine a bloke running it up the motorway, wheeling it all the way.
They might as well have done. I mean,
Keith was at the back going, "One plane! You've only got one plane!"
It wasn't.
And then, when we got the plane back afterwards, they're going, in the event of a depressurisation, oxygen will fall through. Oxygen? You couldn't even get air in the tyres on the way up!
Surprised they let you fly.
They did actually at one point at the airport lock themselves in, and there was armed police there because we'd been drinking.
To
all
be
day.
fair, they did open the bar at 9:30.
Yeah.
And someone went up and said, "I'll have 19 pints of lager, please."
I used to like going. I used to like our little trips to Cardiff. It became.
I love Cardiff.
Came home and it's much better. Wembley was a.
Wembley. What was
dump.
the point of Wembley?
Oh, it is.
Why did we play at Wembley? It was
I
awful.
can't bear it.
It is a horrible stadium.
There's
still haven't got
nothing
it right.
going for it at all. £1 billion. It's like an aircraft hangar. You can't get to it. There's no pubs.
You got to walk out next to Chelsea fans afterwards. Is what we had to do.
Yeah, I didn't go there.
Did you not?
No.
Away game.
I had a premonition that we were going to lose.
Oh, we should have passed that one on to us. But Cardiff was good, and when we went to that big Uber pub when we beat Man U on penalties with Ainsley.
Do you remember that geezer who was pulling those? The Man U fans were. I don't know. Remember they were putting the monkey faces?
Oh yeah, Cardiff. There's a flip side.
There was. And the best one, because the best quote, which we've been dining out on ever since, when we were laughing about it, and that guy came up to us. How can you cheer that? That's my Manchester accent, by the way.
Yeah.
How can you cheer
that?
that?
We beat Man U on penalties after drawing 0-0 after 2 hours when we only had one shot and it was in the 120th minute. And we beat them on pens. How can you cheer that?
Like this.
Hey! We've won the cup. You haven't.
Just before we knock this on the head, a couple of things I'd like to say. My new favourite combined Arsenal player after our Shavin and Valueth is Nicholas Bentner and Jennifer Aniston. Would be the one I'd like to see. And because I think that would be an excellent sight. And
Blonde bombshell.
Can I just ask you one thing before you go? What's your view on the England band?
They are the most horrible bunch of malcontents, useless losers I've ever heard in my life.
My view on them is that I really did hope that in Doha you could get 30 years hard labour for playing a musical instrument in public.
Or at least 6 lashes, the very least.
But they've annoyed you close up because you go to England matches as well.
I can't stand them. I can't stand anything about them.
You would have thought over the years...
Do you know the FA pay their travel?
You could buy them from instruments, that would be a start, wouldn't
They pay their travel because they think they're good for football.
But they only play one tune repeatedly, over and over again.
One tune?
You've only got one tune.
I've never been to an England match.
And listen, you two, it's been absolutely superb having you here.
It's been good. And next time we get Keith on, then we can we can get out our favourite.
Yeah, we can talk
story.
about how you two met.
Oh,
We can talk about how you two met.
That's to be continued.
That's to be continued. You've been listening to It's Up for Grabs Now, the Arsenal podcast. Now, you can email us at upforgrabsnow@playbackmedia.co.uk, or we're on Twitter at Arsenal Podcast. We will most certainly be back next week. Thanks, boys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
This week's podcast was brought to you by X Factor